Welcome back. This week on Hot Topics, we turn our focus to drug abuse and the aftermath it leaves behind for individuals, families, and society at large. This conversation comes at a time when Rehoboth is gripped by a major drug-related case, with reports suggesting that one of the town's alleged biggest drug lords has been arrested. While investigations continue and the matter is before the courts, the case has ignited national debate about drug networks, addiction, accountability, and the long road to recovery. What do you think, Nina?
Well, first of all, I think it's common knowledge that, the issue of drug abuse has been a problem in Namibia. And in the past, it's always been within the Rongo region and then within the southern parts of the country, specifically within the area of Rehoboth. So this isn't new news that's come from, Rehoboth, that there's a drug issue there. The community members of that town have been fighting the scourge for so long, and I think they feel a sense of victory that the perpetrators who were behind, this alleged drug ring has finally been brought to book. And are hoping to see that this arrest is really going to bring change within the community, because it's a community who has prayed, who has fasted for that community, who's reported these cases, and yet it seems that every now and again this ugly issue of drug abuse amongst the young children continues, to rear its ugly head. Other than that, I think it's a really important discussion to have as well. And a discussion to have with young people, the issue of drug abuse, because I believe that the majority, I stand corrected, we don't have any statistics that are backing this up. This is just from our own personal knowledge around the topic, that is mostly young people that make use of drugs as, for recreational purposes or whatever it may be, and become addicted. We had, of course, Jericho in studio this week.
Wednesday.
Yeah, a young Namibian artist himself to speak about his journey, and he said he's not even 4 years sober yet. He's on his way to his 4-year mark. So let's say 3.5 years, etc., which just shows you how long it can take to really get over an issue such as drug abuse. The same way we now freely and openly speak about issues such as mental health, etc., we should be speaking about drug abuse in that same fashion. Very openly, very honestly, very transparently.
Yes, and Jericho also mentioned in that interview, and I totally agreed with him when he said, we as parents think that drugs is still something that is far-fetched. It's still an issue that we only see in the movies and so on. But now it has come so close to us, so close to our homes even, so we really need to start having open conversations about drugs.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, because, like with gender-based violence, for example, they say this, if they talk about the statistics around GBV, and they say you have a room full of women, say there's 5 women in a room, 3 out of those 5 women would have experienced some form of gender-based violence or sexual violence or assault or abuse, etc. And I was wondering how many, people within the community actually have somebody that they know of, just to bring it closer to home, to make us realize how, prominent this issue actually is. Do you know of somebody? Do you know a friend's family member, of a friend of a friend's family member, or a colleague's family member, or even, within your close-knit family, somebody who has either in the past, been a drug addict and recovered, or currently going through the addiction of drug use, etc. Do you know anybody like that, Rochelle?
I actually have a few relatives that are really still stuck, not even recovering or in their phase of sobriety or anything, still stuck in this drug issue. A very close relative of mine also still. So yes, this issue is definitely very, very close.
Yeah, close to home. Of course, as usual, we like to involve our audience, and we want to get your sentiments around the topics that we discuss on Fridays during our Hot Topic session. And we put it to a poll, and we asked you, in your opinion, what drives drug abuse the most in our communities. We asked, is it the issue of unemployment and poverty that leads individuals to drug usage? Is it perhaps peer pressure, that your friends and those closest around you are doing it, so you end up doing it yourself? Is it mental health struggles that leads to this? Or is it just the fact that drugs are easily accessible? And by a landslide, many people, almost 700 people on the poll, voted for unemployment and poverty as the main contributing factor to drug usage and drug abuse. Do you agree with that, Rochelle?
Yes, I actually do agree with that, because I've seen instances where a street that I grew up with, so there was this well-known drug lord, and he would lure younger school-going boys to actually sell these drugs to other people, and then he would pay them every single day. By the end of the day, he would give them
for bringing
a certain
customers.
amount for bringing customers. So and then these kids get used to this little pennies that they get, which they obviously don't really get maybe from their parents or so on. And then it's like, I'm earning a salary kind of, or I'm earning some money for myself. So I totally agree with that.
I would like to think that it's the easy access to drugs. So whether you're unemployed or you come from an impoverished background, if drugs are not easily accessible, you wouldn't be able to get a hold of them. You understand? You'd have to put that unemployment energy somewhere else. So I think it's actually the easy access that we have to drugs. I know that the Namibian police are doing an outstanding job, because you'll see very often reports of drug busts, and they've caught this mule and that. I mean, even between Windhoek and Okahanja, they've pulled over cars
At the
where
roadblock.
at the roadblock, that you know, they were tipped off that there's drugs going across to a different region, whatever, at the border post. We see reports like that often. So I know they've got their thumb on it, but somehow I think the access, once it does go unnoticed and the drugs do come into the country or into the communities, the access points are just very easily accessible.
Yes.
Yeah. We also, of course, put the question to our audience, asking them which group is mostly affected by the aftermath of drug abuse. And we asked, is it family and caregivers? Is it the young people themselves that make use of these drugs? Is it communities and neighborhoods that are affected? Or is it the healthcare and justice system? And of course, by a landslide, the majority of the voters said that it's the young people that are most affected by the aftermath of drug abuse, which I believe, I also agree with that, because you put your future in jeopardy, you put your health in jeopardy, etc. But I think also the communities, neighbors, families and caregivers are also affected dramatically, because we've heard stories of young people, even just an individual that is a drug addict that would go home, steal things from family members to be able to fuel their drug usage. So that affects the family, not only financially in that sense, their safety as well, because you never know what this individual can do to you or the children in the home to be able to get what they want. And I think their mental health, emotional state is also not, 100%. Yeah. You also agree that young people are mostly affected?
Yes, young people and the community as well, because the members of the community also get, like I just explained, the small kids, young boys that get recruited into selling and so on. And this, it ends up becoming a ripple effect, according to what I've seen.
Lastly, what should be the priority when it comes to addressing drug abuse? Is it prevention and education? Is that what's going to help, the communities, the country, etc.? Is it rehabilitation and recovery support? Is it stronger law enforcement, perhaps, or community-based programs? I would say all of the above. The majority of the individuals did vote prevention and education would be a top priority when addressing drug abuse, but I think all of the above. It's the education, it's the prevention thereof, it's the rehabilitation and recovery support, it's stronger law enforcement, and it's community-based programs. So I think all of that needs to be done in addressing
this issue.
This issue. Your final thoughts before we wrap up?
Okay, in as much as going back to the last poll that we had, in as much as it's important to be educated on this issue, I think it's also a personal thing. So you need to, as a young person, you need to decide that I do not want to live in this kind of issue, or I don't want to be crippled by this issue, and actually make the decision to not allow drugs to, you know, hold you back, you know. So, yeah,
I think a lot of schools, my final thoughts, just like when we were younger, we would have, you know, at school sometimes we'll have drug users at the time, or people that are serving jail sentences at the time for certain crimes to come and speak to us. And I think in a way it's obviously educational, but it's also to scare you a little bit, if I'm honest.
Definitely.
I think that's why the teachers would do that. And I don't know, my nieces and nephews have not mentioned it over the course of their school careers that, you know, they've had these visitors at school speaking to them about that. I think those real life first view conversations with individuals in these positions might really make a difference.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Well, that was our hot topic this evening. We've come to the end of this week on the Daily Roundup with Nina. Of course, we're back next week, Monday, from Rochelle and myself. It's good night.